Hello gorgeous people and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm so excited to start this new vlog today because it's not only the start of a new vlog, it's the start of a new vlogging series where I am reading the entire long list for the Women's Prize. And oh my god, I'm nervous about this challenge. The Women's Prize was announced yesterday. It's currently the 6th of March. And I have always wanted to challenge myself to see if I can read the entire long list before the actual winner is announced. So that's what I'm doing this year. I've literally decided to do this morning. But I'm just going to roll with it and see how we do in this challenge. I'm really excited. I'm also very nervous because for this long list, I did not recognise. Basically, I recognised 2 of the books on there, and I haven't even heard that much about the 2 that I did recognise. I hadn't read any of them, I hadn't recognised any of the other ones, and that's really unusual for me for the Women's Prize, because normally, I mean, I read a lot. I talk about books constantly, all the time. I've usually read a couple of them, or heard of maybe about half of the books on the long list. I have not heard of basically any of them. So I'm really going into this challenge completely blind. In a way, I'm very excited because I have no preconceived notions about which ones I'm going to really like and which ones I'm going to hate. So I'm going to kind of go in with all of them thinking this could be a new favourite book, because I usually always find one of my favourite reads of the year, or at least one of my favourite reads of the year from the Women's Prize. It's one of my absolute favourite book literary prizes ever. So this is my first dedicated vlog for reading the Women's Prize shortlist. Like I said, it's the 6th of March. I am going to be doing 4 books per vlog. So I'm going to be doing 4 main vlogs and just covering books I'm reading for the Women's Prize. I'm not going to be deciding which books I'm reading when. It's going to be basically when I can get my hands on them. There's 16 different books, so I can't buy them all in one go and just dive in wherever. I'm going to just be able to like see what I can get for cheap on Kindle, and also what I can get from my library at different points. So that's very exciting. I do already know the first book that I'm reading though for this challenge, because I just got it on my Kindle. So the first book that I'm going to be starting for this challenge, for this whole reading vlog, reading challenge adventure, is going to be Soldier Sailor by Claire Kilroy. And this is an author that I've already heard of, so this is one of the books that I'd actually heard of on this list, so I kind of did want to start here. The only thing I've heard about this book is that it's a psychological look at a mother's relationship with her son. So I think in this, she's the soldier, he's the sailor. I'm very excited to read it. We're going to be starting that book today. I've just been filming my TBR for the month, where I kind of announced that I'm doing this for the Women's Prize. So if you've come to this vlog from that video, then welcome. Please subscribe and join me on this journey together. This is going to be so much fun. It's going to be challenging. I'm going to probably regret doing this at some points. I don't care. It's going to be also very fun. So I'm just going to finish off a tiny bit of work, and then I'm going to jump into reading Soldier Sailor, and I will give you updates on how I'm feeling about the book as we go. Hello gorgeous people, I have been working today, and also I've been reading. I forgot to update you earlier, but I sat down and I started the first book for this challenge, which is Soldier Sailor, and oh my god, it gripped me straight away. I read like the first 20% all in one massive rush. It like immediately starts kind of in a really moment of like high drama, if you know what I mean. So I found it really engaging, the whole first 20%. It's basically, sorry, I'm just doing my makeup. I'm heading out to the pub, but it's basically about this woman becoming a mother and kind of psychological way that that's affected her life and her marriage. And I didn't get that in the lines very well, did I? It's written in this really internal way where it's kind of like an internal stream of consciousness monologue that she's addressing to her son about, you know, how she felt when he was a baby and when she was born, basically. And it's harrowing, I have to say. It is absolutely harrowing. I don't have kids, but I can imagine that it's very accurate to how new mothers would feel. I would like to actually see if anyone who is a mother would agree with how this is written. But it is actually like quite harrowing, and like it's really digging deep into this psychological trauma of what it means to have a child. I'm reading it quickly, but I can't say that I'm like enjoying it, because actually already it's a tough read, but I'm reading it very quickly for how long I've sat down to actually read it. So feeling good so far about this first one, because even though it might not be like the perfect book for me, it's like very, very readable. It's very well written. So that's what you can really ask for. But I'm going to carry on. I'm going to do a little bit more reading now, and then I'm going to go to the pub. Okay, my next check-in. I'm now up to, I just hit 70%, and I really need to go now. But I read that so, oh my gosh. I read that so quickly. It like, something about it really propels you through the story, even though there's not any kind of traditional plot or even action sequence, really. But something about it is very, very readable. You kind of go, like, it's very poetic, not really poetically written. It's very, it's just very interestingly written. And even though I'm like finding the subject honestly quite hard to read about, it's something that's like, I don't know, I think that it will really resonate with some people, and some people will find it harder to read about this, you know, difficult topic about what it's like to have a child and how much it changes your life. But it is written very, very well. So I'm going to stop there for now. I'm going to go to the pub. Might get a little clip of that for you, maybe not, depending. But I'm going to come back here tonight, and it's not a long book, so I'm up to 70%. I might finish it tonight. Like, I might read this book in a day, which if I do, I'm going to be so pleased with, because I've been getting anxious about the fact I have to read 16 books. So if I can already knock down one, like, it would just make me feel happy, I think, to like be able to knock one off in a day, you know? I do have to do some reading for work this week that I can't really talk about. So we'll see. Let's go to the pub. Oh, come here. Oh, good boy. Hola. Oh, you are so cute. Oh my goodness. You're so pretty, aren't you? So expressive. Oh, you are so cute. I am back from the pub now. It is around like 10:30, I think. Looked at my walrus that doesn't have a watch on. And I'm going to finish that book tonight, I think, because I don't have too long left. My Kindle estimates I have about an hour or less than an hour of that book left. So I'm going to finish it tonight, Sailor the Soldier. I'll give you my update tomorrow, and then we'll talk about which book we're going to start next for the Reading the Longlist challenge. I'm pretty pleased that we are, well, I'm kind of speaking too soon, but I'm pretty confident I'm going to be able to finish it tonight. I'm going to keep this ball rolling, so I might pick another short one just to like feel good about the beginning of this vlog, you know? So we'll see what kind of short one is available, easily available on a Kindle, and then I'll start that one tomorrow. But we're going good so far, feeling good. Good morning, everyone. I'm all red, I've just done my skincare. I think it's been a bit rough. I have finished officially the first book of my Women's Prize Longlist reading challenge, and I didn't actually end up finishing it last night. I finished it this morning. I was just so tired, I kept falling asleep when I was reading it last night. My initial feelings and thoughts are, for most of the book it was a 4-star, and then I was thinking, is it a 3 or a 4? I feel like it was quite like one same thing. It was the same thing constantly for the whole book. And although that thing was explored in an interesting way and the writing was very good, it was like very much the same thing, because you almost start with like quite a high dramatic point, and then after that it's like very much more of the same. So I was going between 3 and a 4. I've ended up on a 4. It's probably a 3.5 for me. For someone who relates to this experience, I can imagine it like hitting them so hard and it being like a favourite or a 5-star. But obviously I don't have that like life experience, so I can appreciate it for what it is, and also appreciate that like, hell, like it's difficult to be a mother, and I'm glad I'm not doing it, but I can't like relate to it on like a deep emotional level, if you get what I mean. But still very good book. So we are now moving on to book number 2, which I will pick a little bit later. I have to do quite a lot of work today and quite a lot of reading for work. So I'm not going to be able to do any reading during the day, but I will decide what the book is, let you know, and then start reading later tonight and hopefully get like a bit of a chunk through the next book. Doing a little fried egg and avocado on a bagel for my lunch. Yes, I'm just having some lunch now, done some work this morning, and I've decided the next book I'm going to be reading is Western Lane, which, as much as I can gather, it's about 3 sisters, I think, and their mum has died, and then their they get really into playing squash, and I think you're following the youngest sister mostly. And it's kind of about grief and squash, I guess. But I'm interested. It'll be fun. It's another short one. I picked it because it is short. God, I'm so bad at cooking in this pan. I'm just gonna leave that. So I'm gonna probably start that now while I'm eating my lunch. I'll try and read at least the first chapter, see where I get up to. This is like my breakfast obsession, well, like brunch. I finished work now. I had actually a really productive day that I'm really pleased about. And in my lunch break, breakfast / lunch break, I started off Western Lane. It's exactly how I described earlier. It's about 3 sisters. You're following the younger sister mainly. They are kind of reeling after their mum has died, and they're now being raised by their dad, and he is getting them really into playing squash. And that's kind of it. I actually managed to read up to 20% of it, so I'm pretty pleased with that. And then it hasn't like gripped me yet. The other book gripped me quicker, I would say, but I'm already 20% in, so I'm gonna read more of that tonight. I'm gonna have just some dinner now, and also I've decided what my next book / also concurrent book is going to be. It's going to be Nightbloom. I'm going to be listening to this one as an audiobook because it's on Spotify. If you don't know, if you have Spotify Premium, you get 15 hours of audiobooks. Having dinner now, and then going to be reading more of Western Lane. I think out of the whole of the list, Western Lane is the most popular one. On Goodreads, it's the one that has the most ratings. It's got around like 5,000 people, I think, have read it, rather than the other ones. Some of them have 0 ratings. Like one of the nominated lists has literally 0 currently on Goodreads, which feels insane to me. So I forgot completely to show you what I had for dinner. I had some noodles and courgette, and it was glorious. And have I been reading since then? No. I've been playing Stardew Valley. I recently got my brother into Stardew Valley, and it's like reignited my love for it. So I started a brand new farm, and I've been playing, and it's so addictive and it's so much fun. But I will read more of Western Lane later. I also actually might start the audiobook for the Nightbloom book now while I'm playing Stardew Valley. That might be kind of nice. I'll read like the first couple of chapters of that. Again, I don't know much about it, Nightbloom, at all. I haven't really looked deeply into any of the blurbs for any of the books, because I feel like if I was knowing what to expect too much, I would like have it in my head of the ones that I wanted to read and ones I didn't want to read as much, and I wouldn't like just jump in as much, if you know what I mean, if that makes any sense at all. So I'm like really not looking at the blurbs. So far it's done me well, and we'll see how it goes as we continue to do this challenge. So I will probably play this for a bit. I'll start Nightbloom, but I won't update you until tomorrow, because then I'll probably have a reading update for Western Lane. Hopefully I'll read up to like 50% tonight. I'd be really happy with that. Good morning, everyone. This is Medie. Just ignore her. She's being weird. But I did lots more reading than I thought. I might do a little bit more reading now of Western Lane. Good morning, everyone. Properly this time. Now out on my walk. Thought I'd give a little reading update. I'm currently listening to Nightbloom, and I got to about 20% through last night while I was playing Stardew Valley. So now I can tell you a little bit more about what it's about. Basically, so far it's kind of about this girl, and it's following her friendship with her cousin. They are from Ghana. They grew up together in Ghana, and then it's following them throughout their like teenhood, and currently she is now at university in America. And you know what it's kind of reminding me of? In the way that it's written and the themes that it's touching, it's reminding me of Americana, and also it's kind of reminding me of Educated by Elena Ferrante, because of this relationship between the two girls. This very intense friendship and relationship, and revolves around one of the girls getting more opportunities than the other. It's not quite like My Brilliant Friend, because it's not like as competitive in terms of like the academic stuff, but kind of reminds me of that so far anyway. I'm only about, I think I'm like 25% through now. And Americana is reminding me of that, because it's a lot about the cultural differences and the experience being an immigrant and that kind of stuff. I would say so far I'm enjoying it, but I'm not like obsessed. I'm not like loving it so much. I am only 25% in, but it is a slow start. And also it's a lot of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like a lot of like telling you this story. I did this, then I did this, and then this happened, and then this happened, kind of thing, if you know what I mean. So we'll see how that goes. And in terms of the other book I was reading Western Lane. This one I have to say I'm actually not loving. It's quite boring. I think that there's not much more to it than what I've already described. It's like there's these girls, they're grieving, they're getting into squash, especially this main girl, the youngest, and it's become very much about squash, playing squash, which I don't really care about as a sport. And also, like, I have read some sports novels before, and I preferred them. I preferred the way the other ones were written. So even in terms of like sports books, it's not that engaging or different. So that's my reading update. I'm going to carry on walking now and listen to Nightbloom. Hopefully it gets a bit better as I read. I am back at my desk now and just doing some work this morning. I have a self-imposed deadline that I want to smash out, hopefully by the early afternoon, and then I'm going to get back to some more reading. But in terms of reading updates, I got up to about 45% through of Nightbloom. And it did get more interesting. Basically, I didn't realise it's very split POV. Like the first whole 40% are with one point of view, and then at 40% you swap to the other best friend's point of view. So already I'm more interested because I could just tell even from reading the first point of view, like I was like she has a lot of privilege in terms of her education and her parents and how she's grown up and the opportunities she's got, and it was starting to kind of grate on me. So now I think that we're going to go and look back at the other friend's point of view, who's had not nearly as many opportunities, and see kind of where everything went wrong in their relationship. I do feel like the timeline sped up considerably. Like we spent loads of time when she was a child, this first POV, and then her adulthood just like was so fast, just whizzed by. Like we barely got any time with her as an adult, which I thought was interesting. And then basically I'm concerned it'll happen again, but I'm interested in this second POV probably a lot more than the first one, because I think that she will have had more things going on in her life. This is the Selassie, if you've read this book, Selassie's POV, the second friend. I'm more interested in her, so we'll see how it goes. In terms of Western Lane, I'm not loving that one, to be honest. I'm really not. I'm quite bored. Nothing's really happening. They just go and play squash and then they come home and then like nothing's said. Like I'm sure that it's about something, but maybe it's too subtle for me to even pick up what it's even about, if you know what I mean. Maybe there's layers to it that I'm literally just not seeing, but like currently I am just quite bored of that one. I got up to 60% of it, so in terms of the actual book, that won't take me long to finish because, like I said, it's a pretty short book. So hoping that I will finish Western Lane today, and then I need to pick my fourth and final book for this vlog, which one I'm going to end up reading, which I don't know yet. I'm going to see what grabs my fancy. I might do a little bit more research in reading the blurbs, just because Western Lane was like, I don't know, I'm not loving it. Nightbloom, I could see between a 3 and a 4, depending on how it goes. The first book, like I said, that was like a 3.5. I think it was 3.5 in the end. I've rounded it up to 4, but it's a 3.5. Soldier Sailor. And Western Lane, I'm hovering around a 2. So that's where I currently am, and then we'll see which book I pick as my fourth and final for this vlog. This has nothing to do with this vlog, but I'm going to a Has-Been Hotel themed costume party for Connie's birthday, and so I thought I would just immortalize this makeup look in the vlog. So this is me. If you know Has-Been Hotel, please tell me you can tell who I'm dressed up as. If you don't know Has-Been Hotel, go and watch it. Pretty intense look, but I'm kind of vibing with it. I am ready to head off though now. Going over to Tasman's house for Connie's birthday. And I'll maybe get some clips later, but I might not because I usually forget when I'm having too much fun. Let's head off and I'll give you a reading update probably tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. Didn't vlog at all at the party last night, but it was so much fun. Maybe I'll show you some pictures here just so you can see the fun that we got up to. Just come on a little bike ride down to one of the parks near me, and I packed myself a little breakfast sandwich, veggie sausages and fried egg. Just cycled down on my little bike. It's been absolutely delightful. What a lovely Saturday morning. In terms of reading updates, I got to about 70% of Western Lane. No updates on plot or anything because it's literally exactly the same. And I'm not really liking it. Once I finish Western Lane, I will start the next book, the final book for this vlog, which is exciting. But for now, I'm gonna have my breakfast sandwich, can enjoy this beautiful sunny Saturday morning. I'm back home now and I've just made myself a big old tea and I'm gonna sit here with Miso, who's just here. I'm gonna sit right here with Miso and I'm going to finish Western Lane. I've not been in this vlog nearly enough, Miso. There she is, Queen herself. Okay, I've just finished that book and I didn't really like it at all. My tea's gone slightly cold. I didn't get it, honestly. It wasn't enough there for me at all. It was about squash and strong like sisterly relationships and grief and her relationship with her father, but also it wasn't about any of it enough. It's a really short book and I'm glad that it was short because I would have DNF'd it otherwise, honestly. I've given it 2 stars and I didn't care about it in any way. I didn't even really particularly like the way it was written. Soldier Sailor was written in a more unusual way with you know, strange sentences and like a structure that shifts quite a lot, whereas this book was actually just written in quite a basic way as well. And it just, with the Women's Prize, one of the things that they are looking for is uniqueness as well as just a well done book, because obviously if you're just looking for good books then there's hundreds of things that you can give the prize to, but it has to be something extra, something that's done particularly well or unique or different. And I don't understand why this one was nominated, to be honest. Maybe I'm just completely missing it, but I just didn't really enjoy it. So the next book I've decided to read is Ordinary Human Failings by Nolan, because this is another big popular one. I've heard actually good reviews about this author. Her debut novel was Acts of Desperation, which I haven't read, but I do recognise, and lots of people really loved it at the time. And I also feel like it's going to be a bit of a change of pace for the other ones that I'm reading. So I'm very hopeful about this one. I need like another one to pick me back up after Western Lane wasn't great. I might actually just start it now, like I read just the first few pages now, just to get myself into it. Sat down to read and start the new book and immediately fell asleep. I don't know, I feel so tired today, but I did read 5%. I read the first couple of chapters and I'm already much happier that I started this one. I like the writing better, immediately engaged. I think it's going to be some kind of commentary on true crime. Seems like it's kind of in that zone. And it's already a bit more exciting, which is nice because with all 3 of the books I've read or been reading so far, they're a lot slower and calmer stories, except for like Soldier Sailor. But that one was quite one note, like I said. Whereas this one, I think we're going to get, I think it's going to be more plot focused, which is kind of a nice change. Because I can't just do literary, like that's very conceptual, you know? I can't do that for too long. I have to have something that's a bit like interesting. And I think there's going to be a mystery in this one. All that's happened so far is we've got 2 main characters and one's an investigative journalist, I think. And the other one is a woman who is kind of like grieving a lost relationship, I think. And also we know that there is, set in London, and a little girl has gone missing, like a 3-year-old has gone missing. And then like there's a police report or like a news report that basically she was found dead, kind of following a journalist's perspective as he's going to go to the like scene and figure out what's going on. But I like it already, like immediately engaged. Immediately I'm like, okay, I like these 2 characters, like they are strange and I like how it's written. So feeling good, feeling hopeful. I'm glad I picked this one. If I do play Stardew Valley, I'll listen to the audiobook of Nightbloom as well, which I am now 50% through. I read it a little bit on my Kindle as well. Good evening vlog. I did a little bit of reading, but I've also played some Baldur's Gate and I'm having dinner. Shall I show you what it is? It doesn't actually look that appealing, but it's lentil lasagna that I made and a little side salad and some garlic bread, and it's absolutely bloody delish. Just inspired by my friend when I went to visit her last week in Zurich, and she made lentil lasagna. Now I made lentil lasagna. In terms of reading, I got to 10% of Ordinary Human Failing. I'll read a bit more later, but I'm still enjoying that. That's very fun. But bon appetit, lentil lasagna. I will show you what it looks like in the actual pan because I'm actually quite proud of it. This is my gorgeous lasagna. It was actually so delicious, made with lentils and carrots and courgette, and incredible. But now I'm going to sit down on the sofa and read for a little bit, and I might like bounce between Nightbloom and my new book because I might listen to Nightbloom while I'm playing Stardew Valley. So that's the evening plans. I'll update you later. Good morning vlog. I am just getting ready to film a YouTube video, which is why you aren't in the tripod today. And in terms of a reading update for my Women's Prize Longlist reading vlog, I am now I'm like almost 70% through to Nightbloom, and it's good, but it's nothing revolutionary. Like I said, like the first 40% is with one girl's POV, and then the second like 40% is with the second girl, and it's supposed to be tracking like why they fell out, what happened, what like got in the way of their friendship that was like so strong when they were young. I just feel like it's quite obvious even from the first point of view. It's not like, oh my god, like why is this other girl like acting in this way? Like you can quite clearly see even when you're in the first girl's POV why the second girl would be acting that way. And then so when you're reading from the second point of view, you're like, yeah, like I inferred a lot of this stuff already from what we'd heard. Like the first girl is very privileged and very wealthy, and like has two parents and like a lot of privileges that the second girl doesn't have at all. You can see the way that she acts towards the second girl, even though she's a lot more shy and reserved in lots of ways, and like how she interprets their friendship. You can also just see how this would be taken by the other girl. So when you come into the other girl, it's not like you're like having this big reveal almost. And a lot of how it's told is very like chronological. It's very, we did this, then this happened, then this happened. And like also even a lot of like the emotional stuff is like quite repetitive. Like it's like, I feel this way because this happened, and then it's like constantly repeated. I can't believe that they're doing this to me, that's making me feel this way, and they're doing that again, that's making me feel like this, and like that kind of thing. So it's like even the emotional side is almost like quite straightforward in how it's being described, and I just kind of expected a little bit extra. Like it's not a bad book in any way. I can really see why people would really like this book, but for it to be a Women's Prize nominee, I'm like, it's very like, okay, it's the story of these two girls. It's about things that I've read a lot about though before. I don't know, like maybe that's me being way too harsh. It's like reminding me of a lot of other books, and really for the Women's Prize, I want stuff that is like, oh my god, this is like doing something very new, or it's doing something extremely well that I've never seen before. And that's not the case for this one. So it's like hovering around a 3-star for me right now. Then though, I did get up to 30% of Ordinary Human Failings last night. This one is so far my favourite. Really enjoying it so far. We have two really interesting POVs in this. Like I said, the investigative journalist who is kind of like this very manipulative man, and it's very interesting what he's trying to do. He's trying to get close to this family and this kind of tragedy that's happened of this girl going missing. He's getting close to the family that's been accused of being like these wrong-uns, like these like terrible people, and he wants to like be there as this case unfolds, and he's being quite manipulative about it. And then you're also following the very young mother of one of the child who's been accused of committing this crime to this other child. I think it's very good. It's very intriguing. It's obviously going to be some commentary on true crime and kind of like people's obsession with investigations and true crime and like the kind of horror of it. But I'm enjoying it so far. I like how it's written. It's really engaging, and so far out of all the ones that I've read, like out of the 4, the most engaging and like the most aligned to my tastes. Maybe I'll finish Nightbloom today, maybe not, because I'm listening to an audiobook, so I'm usually a bit slower with it, but I hope to get to at least halfway of Ordinary Human Failings. But I am going out to lunch, doing a little Mother's Day thing today, which is going to be really fun. So I'll be out for most of the day, and then I'm filming now. So not sure how much reading I'll be able to get done, but got my cup of tea, getting ready to film. I actually don't know what I'm filming. I sometimes do this. Like I try and upload twice a week, and sometimes I sit down and I have no idea what I'm supposed to film. Sometimes they end up being the best videos. So we'll see whatever gets uploaded today. You'll know before me, because that video will go up before this vlog. Filming done, out in the rain to Mother's Day lunch. I did not get absolutely any footage today, but suffice to say I had a lovely day. I've eaten a lot of food, had a lot of cake, and it was such a nice time. But now I'm back home and I'm about to get comfy cozy, take my makeup off, sit on the sofa and get some reading done. Good morning vlog. It is Monday morning. I've just done my skincare, so excuse me if I look a bit red. But I just finished Nightbloom, so I thought I'd give you a little reading update. It is Monday morning now. I'm actually so pleased with how fast I'm finishing these books. Like, I think because I've been so nervous about this challenge, I've been kind of pushing myself quite like fast at the beginning to not feel so overwhelmed. Like doing this vlog has really helped me because I had to like stay accountable, make sure that I'm consistently reading these Women Prize Longlist books. And I can't believe I've already finished the third one, and it's the 11th of March and it was announced on the 5th of March. Yeah, today I'm just doing a writing day and I'm going to get back into writing my book and try and finally finish the ending of it and get some other admin and like work things done. But this morning I did take some time, had a bit of a slower morning reading the end of Nightbloom, and I read the end of it. I didn't actually end up listening to it because I don't know, I just wanted to read it like physically, well, on my Kindle. And I'm like going between a 3 and a 4 for this one. I think in the end I've rounded up to a 4-star because I think that it's a 3.5 and I was very engaged with the ending. Like I did just sit here and read it. Like last night and this morning I like didn't even want to listen to it. Like I wanted to read it physically, and I have other things to read that I could have been reading physically, so I think that kind of shows that I was really interested in it. It wasn't like anything very revolutionary to me. It was a good story. I do feel like some of it was like a bit shoved in there, like at the end, like it really wanted just to tell you what the story was about. There wasn't as much subtlety in the relationships that I would have expected for something that's nominated for a prize. Like it's quite a long book as well. It's one of the longest that's on the prize. It's not long by any means. It's under 400 pages, but you have time in this book to really dig deep and get to know these two characters, and I feel like we didn't have enough subtlety in their relationship. Like a lot of what this book is talking about is like how they remember different things, basically. There's one girl's truth, the other girl's truth, and then there's like the actual things that happened. I don't feel like that was like fully driven home, because in the end we were just fully on the second girl's side, and I was on the second girl's side the entire time anyway, like with how she was being treated. It wasn't like I was really buying into the first perspective and then all my like preconceived notions were like changed by listening to the second perspective. Like the second perspective is what I would have interpreted it even through the eyes of the first girl, if you know what I mean. I don't know, this sounds like so like overly critical, but I've read some other stories that deal with topics like immigration and with colonialism and like corruption and like all of these different topics, and I've read books like that have dealt with this topic really well. And so even those themes, it wasn't like it was something brand new, and it wasn't doing it in any particular amazing way either. I don't know. I think if I hadn't read other books similar, I would have rated this an easy 4. But for me, it just, I don't know, something was kind of missing. Even though I did like it, I was never annoyed or bored. I was enjoying the process of reading it the whole time. But is it enough to push it up to a 4-star for me? I don't think so. So I'm like sticking with 3.5. But I'm really enjoying Ordinary Human Failings. And I also loved, like, I love when the title of the book comes up in the book. And it came up in quite a funny way. So that's the reading update. We're going to do some writing today, and I've already decided the next book that I'm going to pick up as well, but it's not going to be in this vlog, it's going to be in the next vlog, because I'm doing 4 books per vlog for the reading the long list. I'm going to attack the day. I'm going to go out and do a little bit of a walk and then come back and get some work done, do some reading later. Hello, I've just been doing some work. I've been actually having a tough time of it. I'm trying to do some writing and it's just not going well. My whole act 3, like the third act, which is like the ending, is just so bad. I'm just like really struggling with it. Gonna keep working now and then do some reading later. Morning, we're off to the library to print labels so I can send packages. Just started editing this vlog and I've realised how many times I'm in the exact same outfit in the vlog, so you'll have to forgive that. I've finished 4 books on the Women's Prize Longlist, so let me give you a little ranking, a little wrap up of the last book. I think you already know what the ranking's going to be, so maybe I'll do that at the end and I'll just give you a little wrap up of the last book that I just finished today. I just finished Ordinary Human Failings and I really liked this one. This one might be my favourite. It had enough of a plot going on. There was enough intrigue and excitement with trying to figure out what's going on with these characters and with this family, but also it was a very deep character study and you really went into the minds and the psychology of these very interesting different characters, because basically you kind of go from perspective to perspective and you go deep into their kind of backstories, things that have affected them, the reasons why they're acting the way that they are. And I thought it was done very, very well and very interesting, and also kind of still entertaining enough that it wasn't like too psychological. I liked how it was resolved as well at the end of the book, especially for such a short book. I think it did it all really, really successfully. And I think that this is my favourite one that I read in this vlog. And now I'm very excited to read Megan Nolan's other book, Acts of Desperation, which I believe is her first book that came out. So I would say this is like a strong 4 stars for me. On Storygraph, I'd put it as like a 4.25. So like this is going to be my ranking for this vlog. It's going to be right at the top, we have Ordinary Human Failings, and then we have Soldier Sailor, then Nightbloom, and then Western Lane. And I'm pretty happy with that ranking. I am pleased with the books that I've managed to read so far, because even though I haven't found like a new favourite or like a 5-star read yet, I've read them all very quickly and I've been engaged and interested in all of them, bar like Western Lane that I just went over my head, I think, honestly. I just did not get it. Bar that one, I've found something to enjoy with every single book that I've been reading. And I found a new author that I'm really excited about in reading Ordinary Human Failings. And this one I would like wholeheartedly recommend to everyone as well. Whereas Soldier Sailor, I'd recommend it to probably a more certain group of people, not to absolutely everyone, because it won't be for everyone. Whereas Ordinary Human Failings, I can like wholeheartedly put my recommendation stamp on that book. So I'm really pleased that I managed to read 4 books already out of the 16. This is the first vlog for my Women's Prize reading challenge completed, and I've already actually started 2 more books that I'm going to be reading. I've already gotten 25% through the next book that I'm going to be doing, so I've started my vlog for that one already. Just as a little teaser trailer, if you are already through the whole of this vlog, I'm doing The Maiden as the first book in my next vlog. So thank you so much for watching. If you have watched all this way through, this is going to be a long vlog, so thank you so much if you did stay to the end. Make sure to please comment and like and subscribe and watch all my other videos, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!